So as we mentioned, after game number 3, it is 2-1 in favor of Crossfire Gaming over WeWannaWin. So in game number 4, will WeWannaWin come back to tie it up? We will see shortly. I'm going to fire up this game here as we do have some bios for our two players.
That's right. WeWannaWin will be sending out Helter. And Helter is a gentleman by the name of Jan Prickriel. He is a 24-year-old Czech individual who plays Terran. He is part of this team since about the release of StarCraft 2, and apparently is well known for his bad manner when he loses, and was recently fairly inactive, so might be a little bit out of practice. His opponent this evening from Crossfire Gaming is going to be El Fatal. He is a German Masters Terran player, and he has played several small Go4 SC2 events. He plays aggressively in TVZ, uses Widow Mines in TVP, and prefers tank play in TVT, which is what we'll be seeing at TVT. So it seems though, based on what his team is saying, that he tends to prefer tanks. We'll see what he ends up pulling out as a strategy in this particular TVT.
Yep, and it was mentioned in chat that TVT is the only matchup in which Terran has a 100% chance to win versus Terran. So a little statistic for you there. Also, keep tuned in here. We will be giving away at least 2 more codes for our giveaways.
2 more codes?
Yeah, I think
Not
so.
Just 1 more code.
Oh, at least 1 more code, according to Delegation.
I'll give you the first code again. How about that?
There you go. You can refresh us on the first code.
Yeah, that one was Chairs for Gaming, all lowercase with the number 4. And that is in there now. And for our video on demand viewers as well, this code is good all the way through the 14th of May. It will expire at midnight, just like Cinderella. And so get it in by that time if you're watching on YouTube or whatnot. But otherwise, get it in now.
Absolutely. And there is a free code on one of the pages on the Reddit link. Oh, do I still have the Reddit link? If you go to Reddit, I do have it right there. There's a free code on there too. So there's 2 entries for you right as we get on into game number 4 with a score of 2-1 in favor of Crossfire Gaming on the upper left-hand corner of Blood Mist by Galaxy. It is in the yellow representing Crossfire, El Fatal.
And in the bottom right-hand corner representing WeWannaWin, it is Helter.
So TBT, lots of cool things we've seen so far. Also refreshing on that giveaway there. We will be doing this over the next few weeks, so stay tuned into the SC2CTL broadcasts. A programming note real quick here as well. Thursday we will not be on the air. Sad tears. Some work things have come up, so that time frame not going to work, but we will be updating with a new time frame here most likely in the next day or two. That can be found on the SC2CTL Twitter. Find that at twitter.com/SC2CTL.
That's right. So fairly similar builds coming down from our 2 players in this game. As we have seen in a lot of the mirror matchups, actually, is not a whole lot of division in the early game, but I feel like that's to be expected.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, I know I've mentioned this before, but I hope we see some early Widow Mine drops. I really do, because that's like the most interesting nail-biting thing for me in TVT, especially when you do divergent builds that are difficult to detect, such as mines and banshees. And the distance between these 2 bases is fairly large, so I mean it does take some time to get that over there, but no effort by either player really to block off the ramp, so each is perfectly happy with a scout coming in, but Helter not really doing a lot of scouting, while El Fatal does move his SCV across the map to get that done.
That's right, and Helter is putting down 2 barracks here, so it's unlikely that he's going to be doing those mine drops as a Reaper, as you said. Or I'm sorry, that's not a Reaper, that is a SCV that's coming across the map. But there is a Reaper in production that will be making its way over there as well.
Yes, as Troy mentioned, the Twitch follows. Yes, definitely follow on Twitch here. We'll get a broadcast updates as we go live, but that Reaper does come in, take out that SCV of El Fatal, so no more scouting will happen. But did he get close enough to see the 2 barracks? We did not quite see. He did. So knowing that there's 2 barracks on the field, going to be a little bit more aggressive of build potentially. Now, does he be more conservative, or obviously he is, as I'm clicking on the bunker here. Reaper coming on in. Marine is going to be finishing up as well, but Reaper from El Fatale on site as well. This is going to be the epic battle of Reaper, and he does able to take it out with the second Reaper popping out as well.
That's right. You can do twice the damage when you have twice the numbers. Go figure.
Double the pleasure, double the fun, Gallegation.
That's right. Both players doing some heavy Reaper play, it seems. But now El Fatale is going to have that bunker and is also getting a reactor to try and compensate for half the infrastructure, but is putting down a command center behind that as well, so is hoping to come back with that. And a factory. He's really just doing a lot of teching, isn't he?
Yes, indeed he is, but seeing all these Reapers on the field is pretty cool, as it can lead to some really interesting micro battles. But they are on a... I thought they were on a patrol route there, but it was actually just kind of a manual patrol, watching that cliff, making sure nothing comes in. 2 Marines being produced at a time here, rallied directly into that bunker, gas coming down, as well as factory for El Fatale. So going to be a fairly standard play, as well as a command center kind of coming down here in the back corner, soon to be flown down to the natural expansion.
That's right. Helter's factory is going to be finishing up, and it looks like he is going to be putting a mine down quite quickly as soon as that happens. Oh, he's going to be, he's going to be moving it around and putting the reactor down.
Man,
oh, yeah, forward.
Helter is just going absolutely crazy here with the Reapers. He's up to 5 now, with a 6th in production and a 7th, so he is going to be wanting to just jump in there and do some kind of surprise assault with all the little guys to see what he can get done here. But it looks like a nice scan going down, although it's not going to detect a whole lot besides a factory with a reactor on it. Not a huge shock at this phase of the game, but Hellions coming out with those Reapers. This could be a pretty neat push here from Helter if he moves out across the map with it.
Yeah, that's a very quick moving strike force here, but El Fatale's defenses are quite hunkered down. You know, they're very compacted and very. Well, now it looks like he's deciding he's going to move his front line forward as soon as Helter decides to move out. He does want to try and land that natural expansion.
With that tank coming out here, that definitely is going to shut this down pretty good. I mean, these Marines pretty good against these Reapers, and there's not a lot of open spots here on the cliff. I mean, El Fatale is covering basically the entire range of his cliff very, very well. So now Helter probably has missed the window of opportunity a little bit with this, which happens when you get so many Reapers, but El Fatale is going to be moving down his expansion here. One Reaper does jump up and sees exactly what he wanted to check and see, a tank and lots of other units. So he is probably, I was going to say probably wisely going to pull on back, but no, he's just going to go on and go for it. Reaper's jumping in right up next to the tank. Nice idea, right, getting in range, so it is not able to get those shots off.
Absolutely right, and that is a huge boon for this attack, as the Hellions are behind the Reapers to do what damage they could, but another tank has moved forward, and they're going to be doing lots of damage, so Helter is either going to lose all this or retreat now. It looks like he's opting for losing just about all of it.
Yeah, I mean, the tanks eventually, he did get one nice little play there, but eventually going to be the victor in that fight pretty much no matter what. But Helter taking that opportunity to put down an expansion. But with El Fatale's expansion already done, he's definitely going to get an income lead here.
That's right. Helter's, I think you said it, that he kind of missed his window of opportunity there. Is going to try and do a drop, it looks, with a medevac towards the back. And there's really not a whole lot back there, so he might be able to get the job done a little bit, especially as it looks like El Fatale is starting to move out.
Yeah, he did have a tank here at one point, which was defending that pretty well, but now that that's moved on out of there, this drop actually could do quite a bit of damage. Those Hellions especially. But
absolutely, and they are dropped down there moving forward. Looks like they want to take out the SCV building a command center, which they successfully do. Oh, and now the SCVs are moving to try and engage this, which is just lining them up for these Hellions. Not exactly the best strike strategy, but it looks like they're just trying to, I guess, delay. I mean, these Marines aren't even engaging.
Yeah, a nice recursive play here from El Fatale, sieging up at the bottom side of this cliff here and dropping the Marines down on top of the Viking there to shoot away at the building as it lifts up. So now Helter's going to have to figure out what he can do against this, which honestly isn't a lot, because he just has light bio units here, which these tanks are just going to chew up.
And now doing that good old elevator to get those tanks up. And smartly doing it too, not pulling both of them, just pulling one at a time. And geez, Helter's pulling everything here to deal with this, and it is not looking pretty.
Ooh, friendly fire going down on those Marines there, which was not convenient. Some Reapers coming in, getting dropped on top of the tank on the low ground. Actually does end up taking that out. Helter with a very nice defense here.
Yeah.
I mean, he did lose quite a bit, let's not lie at that, but workers killed 13 for 13 on either side, so fairly even trades there.
Yeah, that was definitely a great defense, pulled back at just the right time there, and so now both players...
There was a very large group of SCVs for Helter just kind of hanging out there for a good 10-15 seconds, but he did notice them. But now a second drop for El Fatale coming down. Just Marines this time, but Helter did pull back his tank, is now unsieged at the front of his base. So if El Fatale gets in here really quickly, he could add to the worker kill count.
And in goes that drop, but it looks like there are units there ready to deal with it. One Marine does fall, and the medevac is starting to get out of there. Does not quite have boost. Boost is now off, but he's already into that little nook in the corner there where he will not be able to be pursued.
I like this, though. It's fairly inexpensive to keep this medevac with 4 Marines in it down in the lower right-hand corner. Just to be a threat now, if El Fatale sees Helter move on out, he can just jet in there, and if he doesn't leave any sort of protection back, now sieging up a tank by his command center, then it's fairly vulnerable, so he always has to kind of watch out for that now. But third base going down for El Fatale, so is still continuing to get a bit of an economy lead here. Now, we mentioned that getting his expansion down earlier would give him a boon. The worker count is 47 to 31, so that is growing much faster for El Fatale than it is Helter, especially with those kills. Although the army supply is also about half. It is Sorry, let me start. El Fatale's army is about double the size of Helter, is what I was shooting for there. And now the drop coming back in from the rear corner that El Fatale left on behind, and that is going to get cleaned up here with this Viking.
But now the main force of El Fatale is moving forward. Looks like he had a couple of medevacs that he could have brought along, but decided not to. But this group is moving forward now. The tanks are trying to siege up, and there are a lot of Marines here. SCVs are being pulled. Tank 1 going up and getting taken out. But some friendly fire going down here as well. All the SCVs getting hammered, though.
Yeah.
And now workers killed has grown to 30. That is the GG.
GG. So definitely a very back and forth game there, which I guess is to be expected in a TVT. What did you think of... let me rephrase that. How do you think Helter could have better utilized his early clutch force of Reapers?
Well, I think that he was trying to wait for those Hellions as well, which theoretically is a great idea. But he just waited a little bit too long for those tanks to kind of really get into production. And I mean, it's interesting though, because El Fatale really had decent defense even before he had the tanks. He had that bunker. He was kind of ready for just about anything. But the bunker would have kind of limited his mobility, didn't quite have the range of a tank. So with those Hellions and those Reapers, he really could have done a lot of walking around the base and doing a lot of cursory damage as he took that route. But once the tank is there, it really shuts that down pretty quickly. So kind of engaging that a little bit sooner probably would have been a little bit more effective, and just didn't really go his way that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the counter push back there with the tanks and the Marines and the elevator tactics, definitely something that's always nasty, especially given that so much was invested in those Reapers and Hellions early that he didn't really have a lot to defend. But with a couple clutch drops there, that kind of shut that down, and you could tell that he wanted to come back with the same kind of push as was the sort of killing blow there, coming in with another group of tanks and Marines, just kind of stimming right on up. So good play by both teams, and we will continue on now here as the score is going to be 3-1 in favor of Crossfire Gaming, extending their lead by one more, which will mean we'll be going into a potential ace match if they win one more. Going on into game number 5. But first, we're going to take a 30-second commercial break here real quick, and we will be right back with game number 5.